Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another EVE Online video. Now, in the last one, I talked about how I just kind of had to make the decision just to leave, and we ended up going to a low sec system with Zach in it, and then it got to the stage where I was like, there's just a wee bit too much going on in the terms of faction warfare, and when you're around a lot of faction warfare, you know, there is a very high chance that you're going to be around a lot of PvP ships, which I didn't want to be. You know, I wanted to do something else. So I was on the lookout for other systems, and I landed in the system where I call home now. And within the first 24 hours of being in that system, I got very lucky. Now, I'm talking 24 hours real time. I'm not talking 24 hours of in-game time. Over the course of 24 hours real time, I probably spent about 4.5 hours in-game time within that system. And the first hour or so, you're getting the lay of the land, you're getting set up, what ships you want to use. I was using my second account to do a lot of the transporting for me, to bring it down while I was getting set up with the system, in the system with the ships that I wanted to use, getting station containers up so that I can segregate the loot, and all the assets that I have, just to be able to make sure that I have everything that I needed to, and really hit the ground running, so to say, so that I can make the most of my time within that system. Obviously, within the last video, that if you watched it, that I sold a lot of the stuff that I had, including the Orca, the Hulks and stuff like that, because no ice. While there is ice around me, I have no intention of doing any ice. At this stage, I am sick of seeing ice, so that's not in my foreseeable future anyway. And I must admit, within the first 24 hours of being in that system, I got insanely lucky. Within, again, it's usually around 4.5 hours of in-game time, I made a little over 700 million. Again, very lucky to be able to get that, because I'm not saying that I'm making 700 odd million every 4 hours. That's definitely not the case. It's just the way the chips fell at that particular time that I got very lucky with. I believe it was 3 gas sites that I was pretty much left alone to my own devices to do so. And yeah, I made quite a bit of ISK. In the terms of the actual ISK that I made from gas alone was around 440 million, I believe it was, within across 3 gas sites, which was great because I just parked my prospect in the middle of it, filled up on one gas site, dropped it off and back, got the other gas sites, left that off and back, got the other gas sites, and just kept doing that. And I was left alone. No one came near me. People were coming into system, and they were seeing in system. I was just keeping an eye on D-Scan. There was nothing really major going on. They just kind of came in the system and left, whether that was through the actual gates or it was through the wormholes that were in system at that time. But for the most part, no, not for the most part, for all of it, I was left alone. I was left to my own devices. And I scooped up 440 odd million of gas, which was fantastic. Absolutely amazing. And yeah, then once the gas sites were gone, I was like, right, we'll take out the buzzard. We'll go see what we can do with that in the wormhole, see if there's any gas sites in the wormholes or if there's any data and relic sites, etc, etc. And this is where I got insanely lucky, and I mean insanely lucky. So within wormholes, you'll have some data and relic sites here and there. Most of the times, in my experience, at least, I'm not saying this is for everyone, but in my experience, about 90% of the relic sites within wormholes don't have any NPCs at them. So that's what the majority of the time, that's what I'm looking for in wormholes, is because I can get in, hack the cans, grab the loot, and get out with no issues. Most of the times, I would say again about 90% of the times, the data sites always have sleepers at it, and those sleepers are a pain because they are resistant across the board, so it can take quite a while to get them down. So for the most part, what I do is I will warp to a data site usually about 30 to 50 kilometers off. Obviously I'm already cloaked up in my buzzard, and then if I see that there's enemies, I just go back to a jump spot. I kind of make a mental note of that data site and what its signature name was, so that I can just leave it. But 90% of the time, data sites always have some form of NPCs at it. This wormhole though, there was only 3 data sites in it, and all 3 data sites had no NPCs at it. And I was talking to Zach, and he was like, that doesn't seem right, and I was like, I know it doesn't seem right. I believe what my theory is, I've got 2 theories really, if I'm being completely honest, because there was a wormhole exit to another wormhole. What my theory was is that someone came in, cleared out the whole data sites of the NPCs, salvaged everything, and then they were on their way back to get into a hacking ship. That's one theory. The other theory is that for whatever reason something bugged out and no NPC spawned. Each theory, are kind of just as viable as the other. Whatever happened, there was none. So I went up and I was scanning, and I was doing I have a cargo scanner, because I was like, at any one given time, this could be a case of I could go up, lock onto one, and then start hacking it, and then the NPCs could spawn. If that is the case, I'm dead, right? I will have a few seconds to get out. So what my theory was, I am going to do, before I hack anything, I'm going to cargo scan every single one of the things, every one of the cans, find the most lucrative one, go for it, and then if I need to get out, I at least know that I've got the most value from that site that I possibly could. Scanning some down, a lot of them were like 30,000 ISK, 60,000, 100,000 ISK, and then I came to one, and it was like 150 million. And I was like, that's the one that we're getting. I went and I got that, and after that, no NPC spawned, and also no one showed up on D-scan. And I went through, and the other 2 were the exact same. No NPC spawn, no one showed up on D-scan. What I done was, I went to each one. I didn't clear out all 3. I went to each one, got the most lucrative of all the cans, and sent it back. I got my second character to come in a Sunesis, because my buzzer could only hold about 430 cubic meters, I believe it is. It might be a wee bit less than that, but it's in and around that. And with some of the loot that I was getting from these sleeper data banks and stuff, they were quite cubic meter heavy per se. With those 3 data sites, I hacked 3 cans, which was the most lucrative ones, and I got about 270 million in total from those 3 sites. Now that was the main bulk of stuff. After I had left that all off and it was secure, I went back and I'd done some more hacking, and just until basically I had to go to bed. So I didn't clear out all the sites, which I know is a big no-no, but at the same time, I still, knowing that I went to bed, leaving that site left there, I knew that I got the most value that I possibly could. So within the space of about 4.5 hours, I got 440 million of gas and 270 million of data and relic site loot from that wormhole, which brings it up to about 710 million within the first 4.5 hours. Of course, that's real time. our in-game time, that real time stretched over the first 24 hours of me being in that system. That the gas and the data relic sites were a case of that was in the last like 4.5 hours. The first 20 was me getting in and getting situated, but of course across the first 24 hours of being in that system, you know, I made 710 million, which is great. It was, it was good. I went to bed knowing that I got the most gas that I possibly could, and I got the most data and relic sets that I possibly could, and overall it was a good haul. Now, what I will say, and I cannot stress this enough, is that a lot of the times when I post videos, I get newer players that are only starting out on EVE that are finding my videos. If you're one of those people, do not take this as gospel that if you go to a low sec system, you're going to start making 700 million, in a day or in a couple of hours, right? I cannot stress enough that this is a very, very lucky situation that I fell into. I did not plan this. I was obviously going out looking for data and relic sites. I was obviously going out and looking for gas sites. 90% of the time that I'm in a gas site, I end up either sharing it or someone tries to jump me and I have to leave it. This is not the norm. You are not, if you're going to drop yourself into a low sec system, you're not just going to start making 700 million every couple of hours. It's not going to happen like that. So if you're thinking that you're seeing this video going, I would like to make that amount of money, I'm going to go to low sec, it's not the case. Low sec is, and I will always say this, is the most dangerous part of space. It really is. Because null sec for the most part is owned and you're relatively safe within your corporations and your alliances. Wormholes have no local, and it's very easy to be able to see using D-scan if someone's got combat probes out that they're looking for you. So that way, whereas low sec is a case of there is local, so that you can see who's in the system, and most people use low sec for some form of PvP. So don't be thinking that you're just going to drop yourself into low sec and start making over 500 million every single day. Not the case. I wish it was, but then again, if it was, low sec would be brimming with every single person. So I just wanted to point that out, okay, because that's not going to happen. I just found myself in the right situation at the right time, and by all means, when that happened, as of recording this video, that'll be like a week ago, and I've made a couple of 100 million since then, but nowhere near at the speed and luck that I did the first time. Okay, so with that being said, if you're a new player, don't expect that to happen. Okay, that will happen once every so often, but it will not happen all the time. So just be aware of that. But that is going to do it for me. Yeah, that was my first 24 hours in a low sec system, and it went relatively well. All things considered, it went relatively well, but thoroughly enjoyed it. But yeah, that's going to do it for me, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, thanks for watching. Okay, so I just wanted to pop this in here because as of recording this video and getting all of this stuff sorted, I've kind of got into like this mode of where I'm trying to get these videos put together relatively quickly, line up a few videos, but as you are seeing this video, my son has already been born. Okay, this video, if I stick to my scheduling, is not going to go up until after my son is born. So I still have a few more videos that are planned and ready to go, but of course videos at some point will start to slow down a wee bit, again just because my son is born. As of recording the video, he is not, but by the time that it goes up, he will have been. So I just wanted to point that out. I do have another few videos that I am getting sorted, ready to go, so videos will still continue. They're just going to be probably a few weeks between, a couple of weeks maybe, just getting everything sorted. But of course, yeah, I will still be playing EVE, so if you do come across me in game, by all means give me a wee message, say hello. I spoke to someone in Wormhole one day, but that's going to be a different video. But yeah, that's going to do it for me. I just wanted to let you know, 10 minutes video goes up, my son will be born, which means that my playtime will be very limited, which also means that my time for making videos will also be severely limited, but I have planned for this. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, stay safe.